So today we're going to put to the test the Calais irons, because I actually think cheap game improvement irons could really ruin your game. Mid-handicap, who's actually pro swinger, is back on the channel.
Yeah, so we're going to test the Calais irons, going to go 7-iron first today, and we are going to see how they go out on the course. We saw it on the range, and there was that discrepancy. We were struggling to get the longer irons in the air. Let's see how they go out here.
So we're going to be testing 7-iron, 9-iron, 5-iron and 4-iron, because I think we're going to have some issues on here in terms of flight, in terms of height, in terms of carry distances, because I've seen this myself. Josh saw this in the same thing in his data, but it matters on the golf course, doesn't it? So it's time we tested them out here.
I'm using Cobra Forge Tech irons. These have been brilliant for my game. And I've played some of the best golf with them, so it's going to be interesting. We spoke about the look of these Calais irons. That's the wrong one, this one. Spoke about the look of these Calais irons, how similar they are. Now it's whether they can perform similar out on the golf courses, the ones I have.
They're like a Forge Tech P790 sort of hollow-headed design style
that kind
iron.
of range, aren't they? They all sort of come in that bracket, but £500 as opposed to potentially up to £900 to £1,000.
Big spender, eh?
Yes.
We're going to test 7-iron first. We're around 165 yards because we've just lasered it. And we've got 3 white golf balls here, Josh.
Yes.
You're going 7-iron, right?
I'm going to go 7-iron. Wind is helping, and the flag's tucked away in the back right corners. So not an easy one to access. That wind is strong.
So for reference, that flag is right back there. Just somewhere around here.
It's better.
Nice shot. Oh,
a bit long.
Kick in.
Yeah.
You've hit 3 shots away with the 7-iron.
Yep.
Like, how did you feel the flight was? Was it consistent? The sound consistent? Feel off the face? Because if you're thinking about what you want from a game improvement iron, especially like hollow-headed, is something that's going to perform regularly, not just be like, yeah, you know what, it's all right for a short while.
Yeah, and I think, so top line wise, they are very, very similar to the clubs that I have now.
It's an easy transition.
Yeah, easy transition, absolutely. Flight was consistent. Not saying the first 2 shots were great.
When he gets it.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's early morning, stiff. You want to be able to hit a club.
No one wants to hear your excuses.
But you know what I mean? You want to feel like you've got a club that you can hit in that situation. And those first 2, yes, while not necessarily at target, slightly off the green, potentially when we get up there.
I think they're going to be quite close to each other though.
Yeah, exactly. The flight was the same, and then the same again as the better shot that I hit, the 3rd shot. And I just think that's what you want from a club. I think they look fine.
Yeah.
The short ones seem to perform quite consistently.
Yeah.
It's just then when we move into those long ones, like we saw on the range, am I going to be able to do it out on the course with them?
That's what I'm interested at. So we're going to have a look where these ones finished right here, which I think I can see a few of them on the green. Once we've done this, we're going to hit some 5-irons and some 9-irons, because it just doesn't want to be a club or a set of clubs that just perform in one category. You mentioned to me on the video, and here are all the comments from that first video that I did about the gapping. So the test is not done yet. Right, Josh, let's go and find where these are. I can see one of them. You are buzzing with that shot, by the way.
I know, that's one of those ones where you're a bit stiff and you hit it on the green, happy with that.
And just for clarity, that shot right there was your last shot, wasn't it?
Yes, that was my 3rd shot.
The one that I'd say you hit the best, mate, right?
Yeah.
You hit that on the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only from a line perspective, obviously it's gone over the top of the flag, but it felt the best coming off the club face. Now, something that I think we're going to find a bit interesting here is ball 2, or the second ball that I hit, has gone exactly the same distance pretty much as the 3rd one.
Go on, you go and stand where that ball is.
So I'll stand where that ball is.
Yeah, and I'll stand here. So this is Josh's second ball, and that is where he stood. So for gapping, that is pretty good for those 2.
Not bad.
However,
indeed.
Josh is now going to walk to where his next ball has finished, his 1st shot of the day. And this is mad. I would say, actually, Josh, this was your worst strike, isn't it? Is that ball plugged down there as well? Pretty much.
A little bit, yes.
Okay, so his ball finished here. Now this is like, how far are we saying? 15 yards?
Yep.
Now for me, to have a club that sometimes just does this with the same exact loft could be my point of why game improvement irons could actually hurt your game. Now, for some
Yes.
people, they'll go, oh, you know what, extra distance is not bad. But say that was water,
That's
you
the
hit this
thing.
one the worst.
But I seem to have got some form of flyer
Yeah.
in a way, because for those to end exactly the same distance almost, and then this one to go that much further,
Yeah.
like Alex said, if you've got water over the back of a green, even, say you're hitting this off a par 3, water surrounding the green, that's dead.
How far was that fly again?
165. So you're looking at potentially that ball going 165 the flag. They've maybe gone
185, 190?
This has gone 190 potentially. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big difference. It's a big difference.
So let's now go and jump ahead to the 13th hole, where we're going to look at 5-iron to begin with. I'm going easy on Josh, not. We're going to go on the stroke index one. It's an uphill shot. I'm interested to see about the height of this 5-iron and the distance. I'm really intrigued because this is where I think if you're going cheaper in the game improvement category, surely there's something that's got to give. Surely there's something in the technology that's not as good as when you're buying something that's a little bit more expensive. Now, I'm not just saying buy things that are expensive, they work because there's a big price tag. My point being is that these companies probably have to sacrifice something somewhere in order to make the price cut. So, mate, do you agree with my comment there? Smoky. Saying that there's got to be a compromise somewhere. And by the way, as me and Josh are having this conversation, let us know down below in the comments, because I think there has to be a point, and this is what I think happens here. So if we look at this, let's go 5-iron now. I'm going to get Josh to hit a few 5-irons and 4-irons out here on the golf course and just see the difference in flight, and let's see the numbers, hence why I've just got this out. Because if you look at these, right, yes, they're hollow-headed irons. Now, what big manufacturers do, we won't name them, we'll just say big manufacturers, they've got a lot more R&D, let's say. So the centre of gravity can be put lower and further back, and save weight in some locations other irons can't, to basically offset the fact that these are really strong lofted. Because if you don't produce a lot of club head speed and you've got strong lofted irons, they're just not going to get in the air. And I'm interested to see, out on the golf course, how does this go? So we're going to hit 3 actually. We're going to mix this test up. 3 with the 5, 3 with the 4, and then some 9-irons, and see where these all finish. Wait, we've not addressed, Josh. This is the second time we filmed since your first outing.
Yes.
Everyone giving you absolute crap at the fact that you're not a mid-handicap, which is actually a compliment to you,
I
mate.
take it as a compliment, absolutely, because it's nice that people think my swing looks good and things like that, but I am a mid-handicapper, so do I want to be lower course or do?
Can we get your handicap index on here just to prove? Will you allow us to have your... We'll blank out your handicap number.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. No problem, but yeah, it's one of them where keep commenting, because that's fine for me. If you want to give me a bit of abuse, no problem. Make sure you keep commenting, because that pushes the video, so perfect. But yeah, I am a mid-handicapper, guys, I am. I'm not that good.
So answer my question, I asked you about the fact that I'm thinking there's something that cheaper manufacturers have to sort of give.
Short answer is yes, I agree. It goes back to that sort of, not saying this, but buy cheap, buy twice. There's a reason why those other clubs are more expensive. Some people might think, oh, it's the name, it's this, it's that, but actually, like you said, the R&D that's in there, and we've almost seen it a little bit there with 7-iron, does that extra R&D offer that bit more consistency?
Yeah. Right, which one do you want to go first, 4-iron or 5-iron?
5-iron. Not happy.
And here's shot 1 with the 5-iron. Yeah, I know a 5-iron is really hard to hit, and we sort of saw this with Josh right here. The first one was struck really nicely. The next shot, shot number 2, was a little on the heavy side, but we're capable of that. But my point being here is, look how low the flight is. Look how flat this last one is. This is what gets me when you've got a club which is meant to help you get it in the air.
Oh, a little bit on the wind. Quite a lot on the wind.
Quite a lot on the wind. Good strike.
Okay, so first one was quite flat.
Yeah.
Second one was a little bit on the wind.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that 5-iron? How far has that just gone?
That one's on 174 carry. Now, it's a uphill, wind off the left, so...
Wind off the left, off the right.
Wind off the right. Wind off the right.
I hope it's not off the left, otherwise that is one big hook.
Wind off the left. Wind off the right. Oh my God. Wind off the right. So
wait,
maybe...
you happy with your right and left?
I'm happy with my right and left now, yeah. So maybe, okay, aiming wise, I need to be aiming more to the right of the green. We know that now. But one thing I'd say is, it felt quite inconsistent in the strike. Now, and I mean how it feels coming off the face, not the strike, how it feels coming off the face. Like Alex said, we had one sort of a bit flat. The second one sort of like buffered in the wind and was quite a nice shot actually. And then the third one, whilst I felt like I caught it clean, hasn't ended great. So I think that's where these may fall down a little bit.
Yeah, like you got to think, like maybe with something that's a bit more expensive, you might get a bit more forgiveness.
Yeah.
So just for reference, that is our 174 right there, where that finished. Josh, we are now going to hit some 4 irons, which is that there, mate.
Yes.
If you take that 4 iron off me.
Buzzing.
And we're going to see the difference of how this flies. Now, we're going to hit them from the exact same spot, but with red golf balls. So we've got a reference to one, where they finish on the green relative to the 5 irons.
Yep.
But also, we're going to use the full swing just to go, okay, they went this far. So remember, 174, everybody, because I reckon these are going to go very much the same distance because of that discussion I had earlier with you, right? Because of the loft and the lack of, I'm not saying technology, but I just feel something's got to give. Low ball, but rip that, didn't you?
I did rip that. And that's I feel like is the best one that I've hit. It's carried 185 though.
Okay, so not too much further.
But that ball flight just seems so much lower than I got with the 5 iron. Now, obviously, you're taking loft off the club and whatnot, going to a 4 iron, but it was a big difference.
This is what I found. I couldn't get the 4 iron in the air, mate.
No, and whilst that's probably ended up where we want it to be, it's going to be interesting to see how the next 2 go because you still want to be able to get a good fight with your 4 iron. You still want to get it up there, up in the air. So let's see what we can do with these 2.
And now into the next 2 shots of 4 iron. This one was seriously low and a little bit fading up the right wing. Not a shot you want to see, but I guess we are hitting a 4 iron as a mid-handicap golfer. The second and third shot literally end up in the exact same position and pretty much the same flight. This one climbed a little bit into the wind, but for me, it's still really low. Like, seriously low.
I called it. I said this would happen. I think this really illustrates our point. Okay, Josh, so where have these finished? We've got our last 2 with the 4 iron just here, these red golf balls.
Just right of the green, pin high. Now, this is where it gets interesting.
You're buzzing with that 4 iron.
The first one, unreal. This also illustrates the whole mid-handicapper thing because this is where I guess a mid-handicapper would be sticking a shot from, what, it was 190, yeah?
Yeah.
I've hit 2, well, 1 just short, but pretty much on the green. 1 pin high on the green. 2 4 irons to the right. Now.
And Josh is walking over to exactly where his 5 irons finished. I'm stood where the 4 irons finished. We're exactly the same distance. You can also see in the right-hand side of the screen another 5 iron shot. So pretty much we could argue about this and just say, actually, the 4 iron and the 5 iron have gone pretty much the same distance. Not something we want to see, right? We want to see that gapping, especially if you look at a game improvement iron, this is the idea. In the longer irons, it helps you hit it a little further as you get the ball in the air.
What do you think of that situation there?
So, it's obviously interesting. You called it, you saw it coming, and I think that's where going cheap, you would sort of lose out because
you don't see that with your 4 iron, do you?
No, I don't. My 4 iron goes further than my 5 iron, and yeah, I think that's where these might fall over a bit. I think the illustration with the shorter irons is going to be the same as the 7 iron. I think it's the long irons that are going to struggle.
Right, here's the rangefinder, mate. How far are we in here? This is a nice tough into wind shot, this too.
For you. Yeah, thanks, mate. So flags at the front, 138.
You just saved your reputation that you're not a scam artist too, by the way.
I have. Why?
Because you've missed the green a few times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely a mid-handicapper.
And on to our shots of the 9 iron. We need to see how these short irons perform. Now, one thing, this golf course is seriously wet. The amount of rain we had is crazy. One thing I note here is how high this ball flight goes. Like, seriously high.
Covered.
Like, almost like a little bit flyer-esque. And this is the one thing that I'm dying to ask Josh what he thinks of this. Does he like it? Doesn't he? And let us know what you think too.
9 irons, talk to me. Height, flight, feel, same as 7?
Same as 7. Big high ball flight. Felt good off the face. One of them, again, I think obviously with him being a game improver, hollow-headed, bit of forgiveness there, which maybe wasn't there with the 4-5s. They're very much of a muchness with the 7-irons, definitely.
So 7-iron, 9-iron, absolute thumbs up.
Yeah.
Where I was saying these could really hurt your game is these long irons.
The long irons, because if you're hitting your 5-iron and your 4-iron the same distance, it's point in having them both in the bag. Do you know what I mean?
Literally. And this is my point with them. Like, this is my point. So I think it's safe to say that we looked at this test and went, okay, we need to decide whether game improvement irons in the cheaper category are any good for golfers. Obviously, there are some golfers out there which they will suit. You might not want to carry a 4-iron, you might want to have a 4 hybrid. But our point is this, isn't it, Josh? This 4-iron and this 5-iron go the same distance, so it could end up ruining your game.
Exactly. You need to have a gap in your clubs.
Yeah, and I think we're safe to say we've sort of today established that Josh is a mid-handicap golfer.
Yeah. Here's a tip for you mid-handicappers as well. Don't wear a white hat when it's
Look
muddy.
how muddy he is. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't give Josh so much crap, right?